Okay, this is Todd Price. Today we're going to talk about the vouchers bills. There are two of them that are being considered right now, AB 94 and AB 92, and we have a panel here that is assembled just to speak to some of these issues. I'm going to start with Jennifer. Jennifer, you're a school board member. Tell us about your impression so far about the way this is being conducted or what your concerns are and why you're out here today.
Well, just to clarify, I'm no longer a member of the Milwaukee School Board, but I served for 8 years on the board. I am a Milwaukee public school parent, and I'm a property taxpayer in the city of Milwaukee. So on a lot of fronts, I'm really concerned about the impact of expanding the voucher program. Particularly my concern today, what I would like to speak about is the fact that when I was on the school board, I represented some of the most wealthy people in the city and also some of the poorest. And I'm thinking about the homeowners who have struggled in some of those poorer areas to purchase their home. They've made great sacrifices. And the idea of doing something like expanding the voucher program to offer some of my former more wealthy constituents opportunity to take their tax money out of the city to a private school is just immoral. The impact on lower income homeowners is just going to be extraordinary. The diversion of wealth is immoral.
Thank you very much. We're going to move right along. Bonnie, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're out here today.
Sure. I'm an MPS parent, also taxpayer and MPS teacher for 11 years. The concern that I'm having at the moment is we do have one of the voucher school supporters in there, and he's talking about working within the system for 34 years and the concern that there are too many mandates coming through DPI. There are too many things that they need to jump through the hoops of and things like that. And these are things that we've been talking about for a while within the public school system as well, that he said, whatever happened to just relying on professional expertise. And I think we've all been asking that question for quite a while. The unfortunate thing is that not only are we now in the public school system arguing that our professional expertise has been pushed to the side, but so have our financial resources. So while they're standing up there talking about wanting to eliminate duplication of papers because it's just too much to deal with, we at least would like to have people who could read those papers so that we'd have the resources that could best meet the needs of our students.
Thank you very much. Barbara, you just wrote a report or an article, if you will, that was published. Tell us about the nature of that and your concern today.
My name is Barbara Miner, and I've actually been covering the voucher movement since 1990 when I was a reporter at the Milwaukee Journal. And so I've got 21 years experience of, at every opportunity, the voucher program expanding depending on the political winds. So what started under the guise of helping a few community schools, about 300 students, mostly black kids in Milwaukee, is now expanding to what will become the second largest school district in the state. And the problem is these are inherently and legally defined as private schools, which means we are creating a dual, separate, and unequal school system here in the state. And it's not just a Milwaukee program, because all along, the backers of the vouchers have had a strategic game plan. We've seen it unfold decade by decade, growing from 300 students to now over 20,000. And this is a blueprint for the state. And basically, it's a blueprint of abandoning public schools, providing money to private schools without any accountability or very little accountability, and the taxpayer gets caught with the bill. And so for people outstate, they really need to understand this is not a Milwaukee issue. If you believe in and support the idea of public education, granted, warts and all, we all know there's problems, but if you believe in public education, you have to oppose the expansion of the voucher schools.
Okay. And we're going to come back to you, and I should have everybody introduce themselves, so go ahead.
I'm Kim Schroeder. I teach in Milwaukee Public Schools, 16 years. I think my colleagues wrapped it up pretty well. I just wanted to point out that the chair of the committee actually did bring up that this was about the kids. And as an educator, whenever a politician does that, I tend to check to make sure my wallet's still there. One thing that I think was being brought up was the lack of accountability with vouchers. Study after study shows even though they get the pick of the litter, they get less restrictions, as they were talking about, even though they're complaining about them. Public schools equally perform or outperform them. So I'm just here to testify against the voucher expansion, and it's interesting listening to AB 94, the one they're talking about now, where the whole point of it is their life seems to be too hard following the little few restrictions that they have, and they would like them to go away. And this is just absurd, being a public school person, seeing the restrictions we have, which oftentimes lead to the accountability that taxpayers probably should be looking for. I mean, I think if most taxpayers knew exactly where this money was going, there would probably be a revolt.
Well, thank you very much. A spot-on interview. We're going to do much more of a deliberative discussion following this whole issue of what seems to me to be vouchers for the wealthy now, an expansion. So thank you very much for this, and we will follow up, of course, in the future.